Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are going to get into a little bit of paranormal stuff here. Susan Ahearn is here. I met her back in 2017, and she is here to talk about paranormal oddities and stories from a psychic out of Massachusetts. Yeah, we're going to have fun with her tonight. But first, let's say hello to each and every one of you. We have Tim Mothman and his goatee in the gold medal position. Eternity Eternal with a silver. Kitty Caddywhack taking home a bronze medal tonight. Let us now say hello to Mel WD-40 lubing us up for tonight's show. Because when you're talking ghosts, you always want to be nice and lubed. So Mel is lubing us up as we speak. Thank you, Mel, for the gentle smoothness. Race fan, how you doing? Robert Lamoth, Necessary Dialogue. Nice to have you both here as we kick off roll call. Thunderhead, how you doing, my friend? Dr. Bob is here. Dr. Bob will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Mickey G, thanks for joining us. Hi, Lisa Smith in Flubber Lane. Little Cam on YouTube tonight. Deadlifted 890 pounds 38 times to warm up for tonight's show because he loves the paranormal so much. Yes, he does. Scrolling on down. Let's say hello to Luscious Jewels and Ethanol. How you doing? It's been a while. Kitty Caddywhack, thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So, Kitty, thank you very, very much for your nightly love. Operation Shutdown, how are you as we continue on with our roll call here? Good morning, Skip Tamalu and JBD. How you doing? Welcome to SOR Chat. Alpine Fur, a.k.a. Thomas Rock. How you doing? Undead Jed and Mama Catherine. There she is. Mwah. I love you, Mama Catherine. I hope you had a wonderful day. I've been battling sickness all day. I actually took the day off work today. I'll be going back tomorrow. But it was bad. Holy cow. Yeah. I hate being sick. I really do. Undead Jed, how you doing? And AAO, how are you? Nice to see you. AAO will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Scrolling on down, let's say hello to Gary J. How you doing, buddy? And Pam Harris, nice to see you. And Frankie B, thanks for coming on in. Algaray on Twitch. 3,500 jumping jacks in 4.26 minutes. 4.26 minutes. The guy was just moving like a jackrabbit tonight. Impressive. Very impressive, by the way. Scrolling on down. Up next, we have Walter Kochabinski. And who else here? Well, let's see here. Wolverine, nice to see you. The Demon, Paul Demon, nice to have you here. And who else? Operation Shutdown on X. And, Area 54. Thank you, buddy. How you doing? I hope you're having a great day down in the beautiful state of Texas. Yeah, that's awesome, man. All right. Let me get the radio side going. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to be talking paranormal all night long. Intuitive filmmaker, documentarian Susan Ahearn is here. We're going to have some fun with her tonight. It's her first time on the show, but I've known her like 8 years. Yeah, I have. So we're going to bring her on. And let's see here. We're in roll call right now, by the way, on YouTube. Beelzebrad, how you doing? Benno, nice to see you. Number 37 in your program, starting at left wing from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. Whoopoo, how you doing, my friend? Nice to have you here. And I think we're caught up. We're caught up. Yep, we're caught up. There we go. We got like 29 seconds. I mean, we could do a lot in between then as Dave gets comfortable for tonight's show. Don't move too fast, Dave. You're still got the sickness hangover here. Matthew Goodka, how are you? Store is open on our website, spacedoutradio.com. And of course, you can join our membership on YouTube. Do me a favor, everybody. It's that time of the night where I ask you politely to throw your horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We're getting into the paranormal stories tonight from the beautiful state of Massachusetts. Susan Ahearn is here to talk all about ghostly encounters and scary, scary stuff. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will kick things off with us. We're going to follow that up with Josh Rutledge. Yeah, the wizard will be back for the latest and greatest UFO report. So let's get right to tonight's show. All right. Susan Ahearn is an internationally renowned psychic medium, paranormal investigator, and cinematic consultant whose powerful connection to the spirit realm has been keenly shaped by several near-death experiences. She is widely respected for her ability to bridge the gap between the living and the departed, and is a frequent guest on paranormal broadcasts, and including this show for the first time. I know she's been a listener for a long time. As co-founder of the award-winning YouTube investigative team, Mass Hauntings, Susan continues to break ground in paranormal research alongside her partner, Daniel. Her newly published book, Help Me I'm Haunted, released in Halloween 2025 by Stellium Books, offers a chilling and profound look into her encounters with the other side. Now, you can connect with Susan at CapeCodHappyMedium.com or follow her as at Cape Cod Medium on TikTok, where she's known as the Ghost Girl. I love this lady. She is so kind. Susan Ahearn, it is so glad to finally have you on Spaced Out Radio. How are you, my friend?
I am wonderful, Dave. Thank you so much.
Now, we should actually tell people how we met.
I know. It's like, that's a story in itself.
I know.
It was really cool.
I'll give you my version, and then you can kind of tell your version. So I was invited to speak at the absolute worst conference I've ever been to. in 2017, May of 2017, in beautiful Provincetown, Massachusetts, where I literally got humbled and refused to go anywhere near the water after I walked up to the water and saw this giant billboard with a great white shark on it and saying, reading literally, don't go too close because great white sharks patrol this area. And I'm looking at this saying, where the hell am I? Why would I put myself in this type of position, knowing my absolute fear of great white sharks? So after this absolutely terrible conference where I was, this is what happened. I have to say this because it's kind of funny. You don't even know this. Okay. So the person who put it on, who will remain nameless because I banned him after that from ever being on this show. He says, hey, man, did you read the local article in the local newspaper about us? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, man, we got you in there. Great. I'm all excited. I'm all pumped up. And he puts in there all like Amy Bruni and Adam Berry and Greg and Dana Newkirk and all of these big paranormal name people and television people. And then he says, yeah, and we also have a guy from Canada coming down to speak.
Some guy
from Canada coming down to speak. So he advertised all the speakers. This was on the Thursday night. Okay. He knew we were coming in Thursday. We get to our hotel room and there's no booking for us.
I remember that.
Yeah. There was no booking for us. And instead of paying for my hotel room, he only paid for half of my hotel room. And do the conference on Friday, see him at the pizza shop and we read the article, and some Canadian guy, which was really nice. The next morning, the conference starts, and I have a few members of my SOR team there. Okay. At the time, Everett Thiemer was there. A lady named Lana, who used to be my booking agent, was there. There was a gentleman named, we call him the Preacher. You know him as the Preacher in the chat room. Okay. Eric was there. And that morning, Sam, the guy who organized it, his entire team did not set up the building. None of the tables were set up, nothing. So my team goes in there with me and we set it all up. And then he has the nerve to ask, after they set it up, your guys are paying, right, to get in here? I said, really? Your staff bailed on you and you're hitting people up? So he had no schedule in the hotel. Okay. The Friday night prior to this, they do this big get together and everybody is literally clamoring around Amy Bruni and Adam Berry because their television show was really hot at that point. And, and here we are, not a single person came up to say hello to us. Nobody. So here's my team kind of sitting off to the side and we're kind of looking at each other and say, well, let's go for a beer somewhere. Let's just get out of here. Right. So my turn to speak is on Saturday after lunch at 1:00. He doesn't announce when I'm speaking. He announces everybody else, does not announce when I'm speaking. So I had people come down or up, pardon me, I guess down from New Jersey, or is it up from New Jersey? Up from New Jersey to see me speak. But they thought I was speaking on Sunday. So they went sightseeing around Provincetown. And if you've ever been to Provincetown, Massachusetts, it's right on the tip of the peninsula there. It is gorgeous. You can't even find somebody's gum on the sidewalk. It is so clean and gorgeous. And so anyways, I speak. The person organizing it does not even announce that I am there. Okay. I had outside of if you take away my team, I had 5 people in the auditorium where I was speaking. 5. And I was like, okay, got to speak anyways. So I speak, we pack up and and we get ready to leave. So before I left, I said to the organizer, I said, you know what? I guess what time's the VIP dinner tonight for the guests and the VIPs? He goes, oh yeah, you're not invited. So what? He go he goes, no, I guess I forgot to tell you, you're not invited. That was only for guest VIPs to go on for dinner with Amy and Adam and then we're all going on a ghost hunt. So go have a good night. I said, well, do you need us tomorrow? He goes, no, you're pretty much done for the weekend. So thanks for coming. And that was the last time I talked to the person. So we ran into you the next day on Sunday. We were touring around and my friend Lana and I ended up walking into your store. And you had this beautiful little psychic store happening there. And that's how we met. So something good came of it. A friendship was born.
It was. It really felt like it was meant to be. It was very interesting. You guys walked in and it was a miserable weekend. I don't know why I remember that. It just seemed like it was like damp and it wasn't like the best time to be there, but you guys were making the best of it. And I really feel blessed. And yeah, so I'm glad you did. I'm glad it worked out that way. I mean, it was sad that paranormal hate happens. I don't like that in our community. I have no time and place for that. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, I know many people, this person has put on other conferences, and many people, have literally blackballed it ever since then. And he had to make a lot of reparations, including paying people up front before they even decided to
Right.
come again.
And I bet he didn't make enough money because they really didn't advertise. I mean, common sense would say go to the only paranormal store in town. You know what I mean? Like at least put a poster up. I would have filled it up. Are you kidding? That would have been amazing. We were there for you, Dave. I would have seen
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
But
welcome.
it sounds like I'm whining and complaining, but I've done a bunch of conferences now. And the one thing that I have learned, and I'm going to say this embarrassingly, because I'm a pretty humble guy. Okay. The majority of conferences I have spoken at, actually all but that one, have been treated like gold. I have been treated like gold all around. Whether it's UFO Con, whether it's the Nebraska Bigfoot Conference. I did a couple of conferences in Washington State a number of years ago. There's not anything there. Treated like absolute gold. And then this one happened, and it opened my eyes and realized, this is what I realized about this. There is a giant clique of paranormal fans of paranormal television shows on the East Coast. And what they do is like a carnival. When there's a conference here and say this certain group of people is speaking at this conference, this entire carnival of people follows them. So they may go to Rochester, New York, or Provincetown, or Chicago, or wherever, and they follow them like leeches. And this is what happened. And so I found it very funny because it was an eye-opener for me that these people are so addicted to this group of television paranormal stars that they would actually do this following. And I learned this because I actually talked to a couple of them. We're like, yeah, we're going to this conference in 2 weeks' time because Adam and Amy and a couple other people that were there are going to be there, or I'm following Greg and Dana Newkirk over here. And it was just absolutely weird, man. It was I'd never seen that before.
Yeah. I felt like when we met after that, you were like one of the keys in the Da Vinci Code. Because from that moment on, my life just went click, 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 click. And it
Are you
just started to
serious?
take off. It was really interesting.
What happened there? I don't even know this.
Yeah. like that, yeah, my career just kind of just took off, and everything just kind of was falling into place. It was really interesting. I'd had um, some off-worlders, ETs, whatever we want to call them. I had more sightings of that. I started doing my table tipping a lot more, and then I started uh, channeling them coming through on my table. And the first time that happened was like an eye-opener. It was like, oh, but we're known, Cape Cod is known for, it's historically known for its ET visitations. I think maybe because the Coast Guard and the military have a big chunk of it. You know, we're all the way out. I think actually Maine technically is the furthest east, but we like to say we are. It's a debate we have with Maine, I guess.
Right.
Right. But yeah, so it's they've been, you'll see, if you go to Provincetown, you'll see little ET, like old pilgrims with the old pilgrim's hat with ET faces. It's kind of like our thing. So it's not strange to sit and look up in the sky and see stuff zipping around. So yeah, that happens.
That is awesome, Susan.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. How
Yeah.
long have you known you were psychic? Did you know you were born into it, or did you have to develop it?
No, I was just born with it. I was raised really strict Catholic, so we didn't really talk about it. I don't really know who um, ancestrally had it, because it's my sisters have it, my kids have it. You know, like we all have it. So it came from a long line of somewhere, but I won't know because no one talks about it. But my first, or what I first had wasn't even being psychic. It was, I could see what I would call my transparent people. And then there was the solid people, which was you and I. And the transparent people would show up at night. My sister saw it. I know my older sister did, because we would say, "Did you see what happened last night?" You know, people would come out of this. It had to have been a portal at this point, you know, when I can only explain it as a portal at this point, but it was the top of the stairs, and it was not like a catch-all closet type thing, and they would just kind of come out of the closet, and I was never afraid. Everything was fine. It was really comfortable. They were my friends. People say, "Oh, you must have been afraid." I wasn't. They were just like, I thought everybody had transparent people until you go over to a friend's house and go, "Oh, so where are your transparent people? Like, where do they come from?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" So then I realized, oh, not everybody has transparent people. So it was kind of
No,
interesting.
not everybody's got aliens, that's for sure.
Nope, not everyone's got aliens, not everyone's got spirit people. Some were more human form, and some were more of star beings or angelic beings. Being Irish Catholic, everything was angels or devils, so they were angelic to me at that time, and they gave me great comfort. And then we would practice. I don't even know why we would practice, but we would practice reading each other's minds. My sister would go in her room and I go in my room, and if we got in trouble, that's what we'd do. We'd holler across the hallway, and we would, try and think or figure out what the other person was doing. And that's what we did when we were weird kids. But it was always very comfortable until it wasn't. Then when I was starting to say things or have knowings, I would get in trouble, or talk about my transparent people, I would get in trouble. And so, it was just fear-based. My mom didn't know, so we shut it down, and I shut it down. And then when I was about 18, that's when it really came out again. And so we have those moments where our spirituality gets a boost, 16, 18, 18, 20. And so I was having these knowings or information and seeing things and seeing light bodies or light anomalies above my bed. And I wanted to know more, like, what is this? And so at that point, I was already graduated high school. I was on a quest to find out what these anomalies were. So I sought out teachers of all different makes of spirituality, and that's when I learned a little bit from everything. I just wanted to keep going and learning all over the place. So and that's kind of how I found my comfort was, okay, I'm not alone. And we're not alone. We have each other here, right? This is a platform where we can all gather with our oddities and our questions and find comfort. And Dave, your show did that for me. So I appreciate you.
I refuse to take credit for it, but we have 3 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Susan Ahearn is our guest tonight. Over the last couple of years, you've really started taking off in the paranormal world, where you've found a lot of social media adventures going on, and we're going to get into that in the next half hour. But what makes this field so special for you?
It's natural. It's just natural for me, and so that's why it's special. It's nothing that I have to turn on or try. It's a part of my being. So that's why it's special to me.
What makes it special? Is it the communication? Is it because it's evolving into an entire phenomena rather than just ghosts being ghosts and aliens being aliens and so on and so forth?
When I talk to people that have passed, it's history. I get a glimpse of history because I will see and I will be able to communicate with them. So I can get a glance at history in real time. And that to me is amazing. And it's just gathering of information and then sharing that information with everybody else in the community. And then, well, what did you see? And gathering those little bits and pieces so that we go, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy. This information is coming to us for a reason, and we have to honor it. That is the most important part.
When you say honor it,
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean, but for people out there who may not be involved too much with the paranormal, just your thoughts on that.
Okay.
How do you explain that to them?
Sure. So to honor it, so you're given this information, however it comes to you, whether you see, hear, feel, sense it, you have information. And then you either can own it or you get rid of it and you just shut it down. And there's loads of ways we love to shut it down. And eventually, I think at some point, you just can't shut it down anymore. For me, at least, that was my thing. And I had to accept it as a part of my being, as my gift and my place on the planet is knowing this information and then doing something with it and doing something good with it. And that's the key. That's the important part of it.
That sounds beautiful. It sounds like it's a lot of fun in order to see that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, because I help a lot of people. Like, people will come to me and ask me, really important things about their lives. And so when I ask that information from their guides, I'm just transferring that information over to them. And so if that helps them and guides them or saves their day, I mean, that's great. That's the best job ever.
Susan, I'm going to get you to hold on right there while we go to break here at the bottom of the hour. When we return with Susan Ahearn, we're going to get into a few different types of topics, because we're going to get into what it's like to be psychic and talk to the other side. What is it like dealing with aliens? And now building a film career on YouTube regarding the paranormal. It's all oddities of the unknown tonight on Spaced Out Radio, and you're going to enjoy it, I promise you. We'll be right back. All right, we are clear. Good start, Susan. Good start. You having fun?
I am. It's good fun. It's always
Yeah.
fun.
Yes. It is fun. Right. We got about 4.5 minutes. We got lots of time to hang on out.
Yeah. Reading the chats. Hi, Steven.
Yes, you can wave at them. They see you. Paramarv is putting up all your links. Thank you, Paramarv.
Oh,
You're the
thanks.
best.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to blow up my YouTube page. I want everybody to help me blow that up tonight. That would be fun.
And remember, for my audience, our channel is currently shadow banned.
Okay.
So if you could do me a favor, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you make lots of comments in the chat room to keep the conversation going, which you do every night. And then after the show, if you don't mind, do me a favor, leave a comment below. That really helps in correcting the algorithms to take us out of shadow banning. So we really appreciate if you could do that for us. Thank you. Shadow ban means when they stop pushing your channel and kind of bury you in the background, kind of like that old closet or a coat that sits in your closet that nobody ever wears, but you have it there for some reason. That's what it's like. Jessica Davenport, how are you? Tim Mothman, give us a goatee update if you don't mind. That's right, Debaruni.
He's one of my faves.
Yes, he is such a great guy. I don't know if you've ever met him personally.
I have
He
not.
is a great guy.
Yeah.
And he'll even let you tug on his goatee if he likes you.
Ooh,
Yep. Just a little tug, just a little.
just a little. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
Every year we get a picture together of me tugging his beard.
Oh, that's neat.
Yep. Schmacketh the like button. Schmacketh the like button. All right, we got about 2 minutes here. Why is the goatee getting excited?
We were talking about tugging it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Everybody who joins us in Vegas for our fan party gets a free tug on Tim Mothman's goatee.
I am showing up. Now I'm showing up.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
I already put the call out. I'm like, we're going.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still don't know what we're going to do there, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I just say whatever. As long as you get people there, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got about 45 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're thinking of coming to Vegas, it'll be May 21st to 25th. I still haven't decided if we're going to do a show or not. We'll figure that out. If it might be like last year where we just hang out, party, and then drive out to Area 51. Could be that. Or you could go with Merle.
Been.
Or you could go with Merle to the Haunted Museum. He likes to do that. Hi, Jessica McCreary. How are you? Thank you to Area 54 and Kitty with the super chats. The super chats are the wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. Remember, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down, and our YouTube membership is rocking as well. Rocket UFO, welcome. Here we go. Here we go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We love hanging out with you as we get into the paranormal realm with our guest, Susan Ahearn, momentarily. But first, we want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you know our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Let's bring her on in. Susan Ahearn is a psychic medium. She talks to the dead. She's had near-death experiences. We're going to get into that right now. What's it like talking to the dead, Susan?
You know, I kind of like my departed people better than humans. I got to tell you, and I have more friends that are, dead than alive, and they're very sweet. They're very kind. They're always so thankful. They're very grateful that I'm passing on information. So they're great, and we can all call on them. I don't have any special gifts. I just have learned I use them every day. I use it all day, every day. So, it's easier for me, but like anything, it's just, you just use it, practice, and then you get really good at it. So call upon your people. If you want to talk to someone that's passed, just call them to say, hey, you want to come for a car ride with me. They do. You'll smell or you'll hear. It depends on how you channel, what your clair is, that what you just develop it. So.
Well, how do you know you're actually talking to spirit over talking to maybe yourself? Like a lot of skeptics will say,
Yeah.
How do you really know that you're talking to spirits out there?
Right. And that's a good question, because you feel crazy at first. I mean, I always still at this, I feel crazy. So, confirmation, affirmation, it's going to sound like your voice at first, because if you actually heard somebody else's voice, you would probably think you're crazy. So first it starts out with your own knowing. It's almost like, you just know. I don't, like, oh, I must have learned that, or you must have told me. And they're like, no, I never told you that. So it's like, okay, well, where does that knowing come from? That instinctual knowing. And we all have the answers inside us. We all have it. It's a part of our core being. And I just remind people when they come to me, I'm not telling them something they don't know. I'm just clarifying it or helping them understand it a little bit better so that they can make the decision on their own. So, say if somebody that's passed is coming in, so I sense that. I can tell if someone's coming in. They usually come in from behind, or I'll sense them coming in. But some people can smell perfume or cigar smoke or a pipe that your grandfather used to smoke. We analyze everything. Our human being gets in the way. So if you can step outside of that and really sit in the wonder and the curiosity and go, okay, well, what if that was? Oh, that reminds me of my grandfather, and that gave me a good feeling, then go with it. Who cares? You can't make up smells, but I mean, maybe you can make up smells, but if it made you feel good, go with it. That's what I say.
Do you find that communication with the deceased is something that everybody can do? Is it something that you would want people to do?
Um, yeah, everybody can do it. My belief is, and what I'm seeing from talking to so many dead people, is that they are on a timeline that runs parallel to us, and they're just running parallel for reasons. Well, for having so many near death experiences, I'm able to straddle that parallel. I'm able to jump both into both timelines, and so that's how the information is easier for me. But it came the hard way, you know. You had to die 5 times to get there.
As you embark as an empath, as an intuitive, what's the main question spirit comes up to you? Like, do they chase you down and say, hey, can you pass this message along? Or how does that work?
Yeah, people will pop in because I must give off a light or something. There's an aura that they can see that says, "Oh, she can hear us." And when I'm doing investigations, that pops up. Then and they go, "She can see us." That'll pop up on the machine. It really is kind of cool. Or she knows she can see us. She can hear us. They're surprised. So once they know that I can hear them and see them, then they're like, give this message, give this message. So, yeah,
What's the craziest message you've ever got from someone on the other side?
craziest message. Well, this is one that I put into the book that my friend's mother wasn't feeling well. And so I went to sleep that night. I wake up in the middle of the night, and there's this woman with bright red hair, and she's walking up. It was kind of like a loft. She was walking up the stairs, and all I saw was this bright red hair. And she's like, "Tell, excuse me, tell my daughter I feel fine now, and I'm in no pain." And I went, "What? What does this mean?" And so I didn't know who she was. This is young lady with red hair in her 50s. And then in the morning, and I just went to sleep because I don't, sometimes I can say things to them and they hang out, but she just walked up the stairs and then just kept going and went out the wall. And I was like, okay, I'm used to it. But if people get really freaked out, or if I have people that sleep over, stay over the house and guests and things like that, I tell them, stuff's going to happen. I hate to tell you, and so it just
What kind of
happens.
stuff happens?
Just kind of just go hi, like this odd, awkward hi, and then just go back to sleep, and they'll just keep walking. They're not looking. They're looking for me. They're not looking for you. But in the morning, my friend called me, and she was very sad, and she said, "My mom passed last night." And I said, "Yeah, I kind of I know that." I said, "Did she have red hair?" And she said, "Yeah," because when she died, she was older. I only knew her with white hair. And she said, "Yeah, she had really bright, beautiful red hair." And I went, "Yep, she wanted to let you know that her hip feels fine, that she's in no more pain anymore." And that was a relief because she had, um, I think she had Alzheimer's. And so she couldn't tell them, or dementia, she couldn't let them know that she had broken her hip. And she was in pain for such a long time. And the daughter knew she had broken her hip. She was like, "Something's wrong with my mom. I just know." And because she had dementia, she couldn't explain that, or didn't have normal pain receptor information. So she couldn't explain that. And so she went for a long time in pain so that was like huge for her. It was huge for her daughter, that she had this sense of healing and peace, that, oh, thankful that she's not in pain anymore. So that was really a cool story, and I wanted to share that in my book. So
Now, your book is filled with stories about people's experiences with the other side. A lot of times it's enlightening, a lot of times it's sad, a lot of times it's kind of zany and crazy. What, I think when somebody passes, we always want to know, did they make it across? Did they get okay on the other side? you know, it's an emotional time because death is very hard to accept. We all know it's going to happen. We all know eventually our number is going to be called, some sooner than later and some later than sooner. How do you process that? How do you process, telling somebody who's, say, really sad that they lost their spouse or their child or their best friend? How do you ease that pain?
Yeah, that is a tough one because I have a different sense or a different reality about death. It's not sad for me because I can understand. I can talk to them. So they're just not in physical form where we can like hold them and hug them. And I froze. Am I still frozen?
Oh, you're good. Go
Oh,
ahead.
good. Okay. I'm frozen on my end. Um, so I can physically touch them and hold. I mean, I can't, but I can still sense them, and I can. When you walk into a room and something bad has happened, or something is going on in the room, or someone has just died, and you walk in and you're all happy and going, "Hey, what's happening?" And then you're like, "Oh, that energy, that sense of that energy." Where you're like, like something's happened, but you don't really know that energy, but turn that into good energy. You could sense that there was something wonderful. That's what I see. And that's what I feel when I talk to people that have passed, because they've let go of all their human, the humanism, the ego and the jealousy and the hate and the anger and the sad. And that's all gone. And the shame and the guilt, that's all gone. When you get to the other side, you get to sit and let that all go, and it all then makes sense. But as we're, human, we love to label things, we love to possess people or things, and that's why the world is upside down. It's because we want to possess things. And so when we're sad about someone passing, it's really not about the person. It's about our own loss. And so we're crying because we want more. We want more time, or we want more. We want more. I didn't get to say what I needed to say because I was angry, or I was selfish, or I was just doing my own life. And so it's important to be in the moment and be present with the people that you love, and always let them know how you feel about them, that you love them and you care about them. That, to me, if you do that every day, when someone passes, there's no regrets. Yeah, there's none of that. And so that's important. That right there is important to do. So then when you are more in a place of openness and accepting, because as I'm looking, people are like, "Oh yeah, I've smelled, that was my grandfather's cologne, or my dad, or I heard voices." And and that's all true. People are hearing them, and now we have to then honor that instead of doubting it. Yeah, that was his cologne, and that I did hear that voice, and they are here. What I see is that they'll pop up during anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, things like that. So be aware of that. We're coming up to a holiday time. This is really a big time for lots of energy. So be in that. Just ask before you go, or before you go to bed at night, say, I would really love to see you in my dreams, or some way we could communicate. Open it. Be open about how you communicate.
What if they don't want to communicate? Okay, I'll give you an
Right.
example.
Good point.
Okay. My mother
Hmm.
I think she's only come to me once since
Hmm.
she passed. And I've seen her spirit once. Okay. And that was on Christmas Eve, the first Christmas that we had without her. And it was like I guess it would have been Christmas Day, early morning Christmas Day, around 1:00 in the morning. And I watched her walk towards my dad's room, which was kind of cool. I was like, "Hi, Mom. Thanks for coming." Right. But she's never come to me from the other side. Like I've had my nephew, he comes to me every now and again.
Hmm.
Okay. I've had my grandfather come to me. I've had numerous people come to me. Okay, but I've never had my mom. Why do some choose to speak and others not to?
Well, your mom is in your studio right now. She was there when she started the show. So that was interesting. I just didn't want to bring it because I was like, because I'm like, I don't want to bounce on people's space because, I don't want to like say, oh, at the oranges or and then in the toilet paper aisle that, your aunt is with you or your blah, blah, blah. So it takes a lot of energy for them.
Right.
And especially what's happening right now, communication is different. It's shifted. It's not like it used to be. The spirit world has changed. It's not the same, and it's actually done its own upgrading, which kind of sounds
What do you
weird.
mean by that? I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So what they're telling me, and this is for people that have come through table. Now, table tipping, I don't know if anybody knows what it is. We'll just get that out of the way. Table tipping, I use an old Victorian table. We just lightly place our hands. It's a form of, it's called physical mediumship. And you just lightly place your hands on the table and we use our energy. They're allowed to use our energy to tap out and shift the table. The table shifts and moves and taps out answers to our questions. And so when people come through and they have a lot of energy, I will ask them, can you share with me what's happening on the other side? So I get information from them. They're really cool. And so people are, from what they're telling me and what I've heard, it's called distillation. And so what we're doing is these, it's like we're shutting down the spirit realm and they're moving to the new spirit realm. And so they're going to distillation so that their energies are being completely washed, distilled, and they're moving over into a different form, a different light form. And why this is happening, I'm not sure. I think that it's happening because some have said that we're not coming back as pure. We're coming back with more issues. And so like we should be, if we have lived on this planet and then we go to the other side, we should be coming back with less, we shouldn't be having any of these problems that we're having right now with the rage and the hate and the bigotry and the anger for other people. And like, we shouldn't be having all that stuff. There should not be racism at this point. We've all evolved to a place where we should be over this by now. And so what ends up happening is we come back with some of these stuff that like karma. We're coming back with it, or, your Akashic record. And so we're coming back with that and we need to cleanse that. So as we're going to the distillation, that's all going to be washed and cleared so that there's no more hangups, no more past lives that are causing us to come back and redo. That's going to get all washed. So that's a lot.
You've had your own near-death experience.
Yep.
We got 5 minutes to go. Tell us that story.
Okay. So the first near-death experience, I was just young. I was like 8 years old. And there was a lot of boys in the neighborhood, and I was the youngest. They called me Small Fry. And we would, this is awful. There were train tracks behind our house, but they were up on a hill. So we'd hear the train coming, he'd honk the horn, and we'd jump over the stockade fence, and we'd all see who could get to the train tracks first. Horrible, horrible, horrible. But so being the littlest, I would be able to scurry up fast, but then the bigger kids would knock me down. And so this particular time, I was the last one over the fence. And when I was just about to put my leg up over the fence, I lost my footing and I just kind of rolled backwards. And when I did, I had a little blue hoodie on that got caught on the fence, and it was stuck on one of the pickets, and it choked me. And so I hung myself by accident. And so I'm behind the garage. My mom can't see. My mom's in the house at the window doing dishes. And I'm trying with my little legs, I'm trying to kick back to kind of undo it, but you can't because you're dangling, your armpits are stuck because you're all cinched up. And so at some point I just was losing oxygen and I realized this isn't going to happen. I'm here. I wasn't scared. I just kind of surrendered to the energy that was happening. It was very peaceful. And the only thing that I thought I could do is I'll just use my telepathy that I used to play with my sister. I'm going to use that and call my mom and tell her to come out behind the garage and save me. And I kept thinking really hard, just trying to send that information to my mom. And then I finally just blacked out. I realized, well, I tried. There's nothing I can do. And when I woke up, my mom had, unhooked me and then kind of plopped me on the ground. And when I did, it started my heart back up again. It was kind of like a cardiac thump when she dropped me down. And she still had soap on her hands. She just said, I don't know why I came back here. And she said that I was the worst case purple that she'd ever seen. And that, she was a mess. The poor thing. I would have been a mess if I found my child that way too. But so that was the first time. And then I realized, oh, this stuff works. This is cool. I'm going to use this all the time. Not getting the gravity of the situation. But that was the first time.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
quite an experience. I mean, pardon me, how old were you again when that happened?
8.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. I was still little enough that she could be able to like pick me up and take me off the fence, but I was still big enough that must have been a superhuman feat to be able to lift me up because it was 6 feet stockade fence and she had to lift me up to get me down. And so that's when I kind of plopped on the ground, which was good because that was kind of like the smack to start everything up again. So.
And you've had more than one?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had 5.
What's the weirdest one?
I think the best one was the second one when I delivered. I've got 3 children, and so it was post-labor, and I was bleeding out, and I kept telling the doctors, I said, nope, this is my 3rd baby. I know what I'm doing. Something's not right. And they're like, no, you're fine. You're fine. And then I kept telling them, no, this isn't right. Something's wrong. No, you're fine. You'll have to wait for your doctor's doing a C-section. He'll be out in an hour. And by the time he came out, it was too late. I was internally bleeding and a clot had kept any of the blood from coming out. So they just thought I was crazy. And when he went to do the internal to check, it just, and I dumped. And the last thing I remember was my blood pressure was 60/40 and we're losing her. And then, and that was the last thing. And I just remember going, oh, I can't die. I'm leaving my husband with 3 children. And one was 4, one was 2, and then an infant. And I was like, no way can I leave he doesn't even do diapers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't leave these kids. And so I fought really hard. And at some point, I just realized there was just that quiet, peaceful surrender again. And I just surrendered to it. And I said, okay, like something just said, it's okay. Like it's going to work out. And within that breath, well, I guess I want to stop there because it was interesting that there's pre-death. I was already in the death process.
Oh, wow.
So you want me to hold there?
Let's continue the topic when we return from the break,
Okay.
because near-death experiences scare the daylights out of me. They really do.
Okay.
I've experienced a lot. I've never had one. Don't want one because it just scares the daylights out of me. Susan Ahearn is here on Spaced Out Radio. we're going to bring her back here for the second hour on Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. I'm just going to take a quick break here, and we will be right back, okay?
Sounds good.
I'm going to put you back in the green room, okay?
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's bring Susan back in here. Hillbilly Herb, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Hillbilly Herb. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Herb. Hope you're having a good one. All right. Who else has joined us here? How you doing, Susan?
I'm doing good. My screen's freezing on my side. That's why I was wondering if I was freezing.
Nope, you're perfect on this side. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Carter Sauce, how you doing? Nice to see you. And thank you tonight to Kitty Caddywhack and Area 54 for the awesome super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up and our YouTube memberships. Thank you very much. Boondock, how you doing? Nice to have you here. And we're coming back in 5 seconds. Our store is always open at spacedoutradio.com. So check it on out if you haven't. Hi, Fast Hemi. Here we go. We've kicked off hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Great to have you with us as we take a little dabble into near-death experiences and the paranormal with Susan Ahearn. Hey, we want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Palpabration. Palpabration is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Susan Ahearn is our guest tonight. She's a psychic medium out of the beautiful state of Massachusetts, and she lives literally on Cape Cod, teaching spirituality, teaching knowledge, the other side, and we love having her here. If you want to check out her website, you could go to CapeCodHappyMedium.com. That's CapeCodHappyMedium.com. Susan, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
We're talking about near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And you've had 5 of them.
Yeah.
Have they all been the same, or do they tend to be a little bit different each time?
Each one is different. I only saw just once the tunnel. It was very quick. The bright light, I'm on the other side, but they all have that same feeling, that same essence of peacefulness for me. Now, each one of them was very different, and I am sure that each person's experience is going to be different. So it's hard to say. It's,
Did you see the same people, the same atmosphere? Like people will say, seem like they're flying, along a mountainous area that you see the beautiful sunrise or sunset. What did you see?
So I saw. So after I gave birth, and it was that lifetime. I mean, a lifetime. It feels like a lifetime. That experience, I went right to the white light, and it's like a non-dimensional room. So you don't see floors or ceilings, but you're in a space, and it was just like kind of bright, foggy white light. And there were people in the fog, but they weren't coming forward. I could see like shadow people in the fog, and I knew they were my friends, and I knew that they were there for me, but no one was talking to me. And I was like all jammed up about it, because I'm like, woohoo, I made it home. I was all excited. And I'm like, isn't everybody happy for me? I'm like, home, hey, hello. And no one was saying anything, and I got all jammed up. And this ultimate a mother energy, this beautiful mother being. She just said, come over here, child. And I went over and I sat on her lap. Now, when you die, you can go, we appear to in whatever age we want to. And so I went back to a child. I went back to a child body because I was, what was I, 26, 24? And so I went back to a child body, and I was just this little young, energetic, full of life. And, before you're tarnished by the world. And I was just so bright eyed and excited. And I was all bummed out. And I sat there, and I'm sitting on this woman's lap, which I would then, it felt very like the Blessed Mother type of energy, the ultimate mother. And she just kind of made it all better. And she just listened to me whine and didn't judge me or didn't say anything. And I was just whining because nobody was here. Nobody loved me. And where's my party? And I made it home. And why isn't anybody happy for me? And she said, well, there was a mistake. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, you weren't supposed to die. But because you've made it this far, we can't turn you back. You can't send you back. You have to decide on your own. And I went, okay. Why would I want to leave this? Like this is making it across the the finish line. And she said, well, if you go with these two people, they were like guides, angels, whatever. They didn't have wings, but they were just, I don't know, angelic beings. They will take you to another place, and then I would be able to decide on my own. And I didn't understand what that was. It was like, okay. So off I went, and we did pass, which was really interesting. We passed a place because people say, did you ever see hell? And I said, did I ever see hell? I didn't actually see it. It was like, when you're walking down a hallway and there's rooms, the doors are open and you can't help but peek in, like you're just kind of want to look. That's what it was. It was like, okay, I went past the room, the hell room, and it was not good. I remember going past that and going, ooh, my hiney puckered and I kind of walked faster type of thing. I was like, I didn't want to be in there. So I know that there is an existence that is not good, that I want no part of. I know that is real. But did I go in it? No, we just kept going to this. It almost looked like a movie theater when the lights go black, but you're in the seats and there's other people there, but you can't see them because it's dark and your eyes haven't adjusted. That's exactly what it looked like. And so I'm sitting there, I'm watching this movie of my life, past, present, future. It was all happening at the same time. So past, present, and future was all going on at the same time. And then I realized I have to go back. And with that thought, like it was so important to me, I have to go back. Oh I got to get back. And then I dropped back into my body, and that was the most painful thing. After dying and leaving your body to go back into your vessel, it's not comfortable. It felt like I dropped from the highest building onto shards of glass and nails or anything sharp. Every cell in your body hurts. Something must happen on a cellular level where everything just turns on again, and it just hurt. Everything hurt. And I took a breath, and the first thing I said was, F word, I chose this. And that was my first words back, was like, oh my God, being alive is so painful. Coming into a body is so painful. It was like what babies must feel when they're being born. It's just like shock. But I knew I had to be here. I was not going back. Like, I have a mission. I have to do this. There's so many things. And if I don't get back in time, like, oh my gosh, I'm already late. Like, something's going to happen if I don't get back soon. So when it's not planned, it can really mess up the process for lots of people, not just one person or two people. Like, it sets everything off. Now someone's back there, on the typewriter going, we got to fix this. Okay, put this, Susan has to be over here now, and change those people. And, it's crazy. It's like theater backstage when someone messes up a line and you're shifting costumes and that's what it felt like. Like a lot of things had to shift because I was a few minutes late. It was amazing. So. I can't hear you.
Or did they give you any indication of why you needed to keep coming back?
It was really important. That's all I got. And I know I saw it. I wasn't supposed to remember it. I know I saw it. I knew I understood it. It was crucial. So I know that being here at this time on this planet, at this age, is for a reason. And when I tell everybody this is no joke. Like, this is not just by accident. You just happen to be born and you have no purpose. We all have a purpose. We are all here for a reason, especially at this time. Like, we're calling on our A team because stuff is happening. Stuff is happening now. It's happened when we don't even realize it. But come Easter is going to be even another big ta-da. So between now and then, like, stuff is getting real. And I know that that's why I'm here. And so meeting you was not by accident. And then what happened after I met you it was no accident. Everything is just kind of unfolding exactly as it shall.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And that's amazing for you to be able to catapult yourself off that energy that you recognize. I mean, not a lot of people can do that. I know I can't do that.
Yeah.
So good for you on that one.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's move on to some paranormal stories here, because you do a lot of filming on YouTube. Tell us about your YouTube channel.
Oh, sure. So Mass Hauntings is where we. So where can let's start before that. So I had this idea that, like, I had done. I wanted on my bucket list. I put something like I wanted to do. Like, I just wanted to be an extra in a movie. I didn't want to be a movie star. I just wanted to be an extra walking by. I can do that. Everybody can walk, right? And that went really well. And I thought, okay, well, I've done a few cool movies. What do I want to do now? And then I thought, well, I've never been in like a scary movie. I want to do a scary movie. So I kind of put that out to the universe. Now, remember, if you can do whatever you want, you just have to want it. It has to be in its purest form. I just want to do this. And then it's like, poof, and it happens. So I wanted to be in a scary movie. And so I was sharing that thought, and you got to share the thought, right? So if you need a new car, you have to think it, want it, and you need to know purely why you need it. And then you have to share it with somebody else. Once you share it, write it down, you put it into motion. So that's like the keys to manifesting. So I share it with my friend, and she said, oh, I have a director friend. I'll link you up with him. And I said, okay. And that was Daniel Groom, the director that I work with now with. And so I text him, I reach out and I said, hey, I'm a psychic medium. I was wondering if you have anything coming up that I may, fit in with. And he reaches out, he says, you're freaking me out right now. He said, well, I'm sitting here with one of the other writers on Alternate Ground. And he said, we're writing in a spot because we feel like we need a psychic medium. And I had just reached out to him at that time. He says, I need a second because I'm really freaked out, but you're hired. And that's how I got on Alternate Ground. And I was a psychic medium at the time, in the movie. So
very cool. And it's continued through a very successful YouTube production where you guys go around talking about people's paranormal, supernatural, cryptid, and UFO type stories.
Right. So that's what we're working on now. We just finished Stonegate. It's out on Tubi. It just came out on Tubi, so you don't have to pay for it. But it's also on Amazon Prime. And so that's a cool watch if you want something to watch. But this one that we're doing is collecting real stories. Like, I don't want to hear the famous people stories anymore. Like, I've heard from all of them. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what happened to you, and it's important to me. Like, your story is important to me. I want to know what that is, and that weighs more than the same old people saying the same things. I'm tired of seeing them. I'm thankful for them in the industry, but I'm tired of that. And I want to reach out and touch souls and have them get that opportunity to share it, because they're just as important and they're just as good.
I agree with you on that. Like, one of my biggest complaints about paranormal television is that it's different teams going to the same locations every year.
Yeah.
And I make fun of this, but we don't need any more Gettysburgs. We don't need any more Waverly Hills or Alcatraz or anything like that. Those stories have been so done, and or here's another one I just thought of. I don't know about you, but for a while there on paranormal television, all these D and E League Hollywood celebrities were coming out doing paranormal shows. I Know What I Saw. And I'm sorry, I don't need to see Ricky Lake. I don't need to see Carney Wilson or Eric Estrada or, not that they're bad people or anything, but we know what they're doing. We know that they're trying to rekindle. Their agent says, hey, I got something for you here. You're not going to get paid much, but it gets you back in front of the camera. It gets your name out there. The only reason why they're doing it. But real people stories, it's the same thing in the UFO world, where you see all of these so-called UFO whistleblowers, from ex-military members coming out claiming to be whistleblowers because they went outside while they were on shift at the Air Force Base having a cigarette and they saw something weird above them. Well, we have real people who are having these encounters too. What about them? They're not whistleblowers, but because they're wearing a military patch, they're a whistleblower. So it doesn't make sense to me. And for you to go out there and actually capture real people's stories, especially with now the way AI is improving, we need those more human stories about real encounters. So I think you're doing a great job with that.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was funny. I had this, sometimes, like, my mind just, the information comes to me at night. So I just am up and my mind is just reeling, and they're giving me information and they're going, okay, here's the next idea. And I don't ask too many questions, because they've never done me wrong. They've always, if I've listened correctly, it's spot on. So I always listen to my guides. And so when they're like, okay, Susan, it's time to blah, blah, blah. Okay, off I go, like a little kid. I just listen to them. And this whole new project, I mean, we just had finished Stonegate. Doing a movie is exhausting, filming it, producing it, and we do it low budget. So I'm the sandwich runner, and I'm the makeup girl, and I do, I'm running for water, and I'm ironing costumes, and I'm doing all that. So there's no stars, there's no time to be a diva. It's hard work, and you put it all together. And so at the end of it, it's just like, but I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh God.
Well, I mean, you're talking about, just trying to find new locations to help people to bring out these real stories that people have, because in the end, there are more real people, whether they work at Walmart or they are a corporate lawyer or a doctor or a teacher, or they're pumping gas for a living. There are real people having real encounters with high strangeness. And in reality, the only thing that they want, because they never chose this, is they just want some answers and to be heard and not look like as fools.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's where that's where the real, we're getting away from the famous people. We're seeing that they're, and just reaching out to everybody. Oh, they're just showing up to me. I mean, the guides are just bringing them. And I was like, I interviewed this one guy, great interview. He has a haunted doll. Now, I think his doll is more haunted than Annabelle, just to let you know, and you'll see it for yourself during the interview. But they're out there. Like, she's not the only haunted doll. I hate to take her thunder away, but there's stuff out there. There's people have haunted stuff. So that's one of the sections. And so then that person said, I said, you don't happen to have any, because we're all odd. So we all have our odd friends. And, do you happen to know anybody near the Bridgewater Triangle? Because that's where we were near. And that place is just loaded with all sorts of stuff. And that's like an hour away from my house. And Daniel lives about 10 minutes away from there. So we don't live close to each other. We're kind of far away, but so he's like, oh, I just happen to have, a cryptid. I happen to have a Bigfoot guy. I happen to, and they just it's coming. And so that's when you know that you're on target, is when it just unfolds naturally. It's just authentic. And that's them going, we need this information out and you're going to help us. And so that's how it works.
What's your favorite story you've been told?
That someone has told me?
Yes.
Someone has told me my favorite story. I think this comes from when I was a little girl. I love the lady in white on the stairwell, and it's an old photograph, and she's walking down the stairwell. Have you ever seen that one? I don't even know where it's from. I just know the photo. Anyone out there? You guys must know what I'm talking about. It's this beautiful old Victorian stairway.
Yes, I know the photo with the girl on the stairs.
Yes, I don't know who or what or why she was walking. I just remember that was always my favorite. And that's what got me into this. Like, I saw her and I went, oh, she was more mysterious than my people, my transparent people. Because you can see everything. It's just like you can see their eyes, the nose. But you know what I've never seen is a ghost's feet. Have you ever seen ghost feet?
No,
I don't think anybody has. Anybody out there, if you've ever seen a ghost feet, please let me know, because I think this is so amazing.
Actually, we accidentally got a photo of it in our barn at our local museum of feet. Like, you could see the reflection from the runners. You know how they have that that silver reflection?
Yeah.
I have to find that photo. It is one of the greatest photos. So there was nobody in that room.
That's interesting.
Yes, so I have
maybe like the
I
Holy
have seen the
Grail.
legs, the feet.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, I've seen like from the shins up just to the shins, but nothing really beyond that. Like I've never seen blah blah blah. I've heard it. We know they have feet because we've all heard it, but yeah, I've never seen it. Another cool story. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because
Sure.
we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. When we return, we're going to talk more paranormal stories as well. We're going to get to some audience questions, because I know the audience absolutely loves jumping in with some questions. So if you're listening in Radio Land and you want to get a question to our guest, you got to come on to X, or you have to come into our YouTube chat, because we don't take callers here. We don't. But what we do is take your questions, and we pass them along to our guest tonight, Susan Ahearn. You can go to her website, which I would suggest you do. It is CapeCodHappyMedium.com. CapeCodHappyMedium.com. We'll be right back. listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. Sorry, guys. I am so tired of sneezing. I probably sneezed like 200 times since yesterday. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. It's probably because I'm allergic to Dodger fans. That might be it. It's all FAP's fault. Oh, this is flying by, Susan.
Oh, I know it. We only have a half hour left. This is so
I
sad.
know. Where is that photo?
And tater sausage is nude from the ankles down.
Let me just see something here. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Go here. Let's see if it's here. Is it here? Go to photos. No, I do not see them. It's not there. I know there is a photo. I'll have to find that photo.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
So weird. But yeah, we're in an area upstairs in the barn, and there's an area we don't allow photographs. But this guy accidentally took one, and it faced into another room on the upstairs of the barn, and you actually see the you don't see the body, but you see the legs and the shoes.
That is so cool. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. All right. Got about 2 minutes here.
Okay. Can we just say the on YouTube it's Susan Ahearn, the Happy Medium.
Yep.
Okay.
Fun times.
I love the image, that backdrop image.
This
It's
one?
so cool. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that I mean on the screen, the alien and the Bigfoot.
Oh, yes. Yes.
All your owls and so cool.
Yeah. That was there we go.
Ooh, scared me.
Yeah, that was an AI rendering that I did.
I like it.
I like it. I love the colors of it.
Yeah, it really is cool.
All right, we got about a minute 20.
Okay.
All right. Tickets are on sale for Caribou Con 2026. Go to cariboucon.com. cariboucon.com. VIP tickets will only last until I think about April. Okay. Remember, if you're coming from the States, you are literally paying in Canadian dollars, which means it's going to be like half the price. And so go to cariboucon.com. Good Christmas presents, people. And it's worth the drive up here. Rocket UFO, do you have your own radio station out there? Is that no, we take breaks we have 8 radio stations that we broadcast on. So we have to time everything out to their schedule. So that's what we do. And that's why you get to hear the behind the scenes that we do here on the show. Big thank you to Area 54 and Kitty Caddywhack for our lone super chats tonight. Don't forget, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment after the show. We're trying to get out of this shadow banning, people, and we need your help. So let's make sure we do that on YouTube. And here we go, everyone. We are into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hey, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Susan Ahearn is here, as she is a psychic medium. She's a paranormal investigator and author. You can find her book on Amazon as well if you want to check out her website, which I always suggest you guys do. Let's give you the website, shall we? Let's have some fun with that. CapeCodHappyMedium.com. CapeCodHappyMedium.com. Susan, welcome back.
Thank you, love.
All right.
I'm so sad. It's gone so fast. I'm just having a great time. Everyone is so amazing.
Well, you have been a great guest so far, too. So you take a lot of that credit. You do. Let's get to your scariest paranormal story.
Oh, this one got in the way when I was writing the book. So we were investigating a museum on Cape. And in the museum, I came across a demonic presence that was in one of the artifacts. And they called us to come because some things were happening, but it really didn't seem like much. But we're like, oh, fun. It's a place to, when you just want to investigate anything, you're like, sure, we'll investigate it. And when we were setting up, there were signs like, I know better. This is such a rookie mistake. I smelt rotten flesh.
Ew.
Right? Okay. If you smell rotten flesh, you've got something demonic. But I thought, well, maybe it was a mouse or maybe like something decaying, definitely decay. But I just assumed it was a mouse. I just kind of poo-pooed it because we're in this very sweet museum. It wasn't in anything. It was just Cape Cod artifacts, like dresses and baby carriages and things that were just not haunted. So we do we're doing the Estes method. I'm up they have it set up as a schoolroom, a schoolhouse, and we're upstairs in that. And because not a lot scares me. I don't mind being in a dark basement by myself or in an attic by myself. So I'm upstairs by myself, and the demon was saying, was swearing and stuff like that. And you hear that every now, you hear that when you're doing stuff. And in the video that they captured, you could see my hair going up. And it was doing just like that. And I went, somebody's touching me. And then the energy started to turn crazy. But it was when it ended up touching me that I knew that was that moment. And then my whole personality changed. My demeanor changed. I was horrible. Oh, I was awful. I verbally attacked the head woman of I don't know what her title was, but she ran the museum. I verbally attacked her, not knowing that she had a crucifix stuck in her brassiere. because she's very Catholic, and she didn't have a crucifix. It wasn't like a little it was a crucifix this big.
Oh
And
my.
she had it tucked in her bra. And I somehow the demon knew that she had it in her bra. And I went, and you've got that thing in your bra. And I'm like spitting. It was just horrible. And she's like, what do you mean this? And I was like, ah. And I just like frothed, and then I ran off, and then you couldn't find me. It was so the energy overtook me, and it overtook a couple of everybody on the team was affected in one way or another. One of the people in the team, most of us, we don't talk to each other. It really kind of ruined that particular group that I was working with. It was really sad. Like we don't talk anymore. It wants us to be separate. It wants us to be away from each other. And it ended up being we kind of narrowed it down to the piggy bank. There was this clown head piggy bank, one of the metal ones, and it was in that. And the interesting mystery around it was that the people there at the museum were like, usually when you get a museum piece, it's who did it, who gave it to you, the date they gave it to you, what its origin. They usually have all this information on it. They don't just accept junk. It's not a junk store. That's an antique store. This is not an antique store. So they had no idea. There was no record of where it came from. There was no record of who dropped it off, when it showed up, how long it was there. They'd never seen it before. It just appeared behind glass in their museum. If that's not freaky.
That's kind of creepy.
That's real creepy. So whatever it was
that a lot
there.
in museums.
What?
You hear that a lot in museums where all of a sudden things will just appear. I mean, the famous one is Robert the Doll in Florida, where nobody knows how he got his little lion toy.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cool story. I love Robert. I've seen him a couple times. Yeah. So yeah, we had no idea where that came from. And also I was like, why do you have a Ouija board in your museum? And she's like, we don't have a Ouija board. And I said, yes, you do. It's right over there. And I walked over to where it was behind the glass, and I'm like, oh, it's not there. I swear I saw a Ouija board in their glass case. And another girl that was on the team, she saw it too. Thank the good Lord. Because I really thought I was going crazy. And she goes, yeah, I saw the Ouija board. It was she said, we've never had a Ouija board. So there was all sorts of freaky stuff going on. But yeah, we all had, it attacked each one of us in a different way. And one of the girls, it was in the summer, so you wouldn't have, it was the beginning of summer, but you'd never have your fireplace on. She had a gas fireplace. And when she came home, that was on. And you can't just, it doesn't turn on by itself. You have to literally do a few steps to turn on a gas fireplace. And so she had fire going. It ruined relationships for me with friends and other people on the team, because I said things I would never say. And I knew things I would have never known. And it went around just like, and you. And yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Sorry to hear that.
When I had to experience it. It was important for me in this evolution of doing my work, is that I understand what it feels like to be taken over. And it did go. I had to work. It didn't go right away. It was hung out with me for a while. But I went to other people to help me remove it. And it was repetitive. It was layers of caca. Then I finally broke it. But then a year later, almost, it was to the date of that that investigation. It was messing with my phone as well. It was sending out text messages and weird numbers and letters. So it was messing with my phone that day. A year later, I get a text with a picture that it had to do with the investigation and something bad. And it popped up and said, what a great day. Do you remember this day? And I was like, I don't know how it can do that. Like, I don't know how it can send me a text. That blew my mind. I don't know how it could do that. Even to this day, I'm like, that was just weird. So, yeah, it was important. I had to go through it. It was very painful. It really took a year for it to get out of my life. And when I was writing the book, or just the chapter, I'm not even like, it's not even my whole book. It was just lots of little stories, but I'm writing my story, and in it, I'm writing about this demonic energy that attacked us. It was the first time I'd ever shared it because I didn't want to talk about it. It's a very well-known demonic energy, a presence. I will not say his name, but it is. So I'm writing about it, and it's and what it can do. And I go to send it to Annette, who owns Stellium Books, and she can't receive my emails. I sent her 5 emails with the thing. She finally says, "Here, send me it. I'm going to send you an email with Archangel Michael, a picture of Archangel Michael, and then send it that way." And that's the only way that email got through. So he still messes with me. He still reminds me. He's like a hangnail. I don't give him any energy. I don't feed him. I'm not afraid of him. It's just a presence that I deal with every now and then, and it's just kind of like that evil giggle, ha ha ha, I'm still here.
Right.
But yeah, it got through when I was writing the book, and there was black flies floating around, and I didn't think about it, but I'm like, does anybody else have black flies right now? And they're like, no. Why do you have black flies? I'm like, I don't know. Those big fat ones too. The minute I stopped writing the book and I finished giving her the information, the flies went away.
Oh, wow. Like, let's get to some audience questions here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Mr. in the studio. Have you ever looked at your screen on your phone and seen people? I had that once before on Good Friday a few years ago. It was pretty wild seeing innocent souls that randomly showed up on my screen.
No, I love that. That's cool in the studio. Wow. Never seen that.
It's kind of like the new trend on, with people with Teslas or electric vehicles going into graveyards, driving the graveyard roads and seeing the spirits walking around. Now, I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's just an internet thing where people are making it up. I don't know. But if it is true, I think that's amazing.
I don't have a Tesla.
Me either. Me either. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Dr. Bob. Have you ever talked to people like Jerry Garcia?
Oh, wow. No, I have not. What cool people have I talked to? Oh, what's his name? He was a football guy for the Patriots, Aaron Hernandez.
Oh, yes. It's weird that you mentioned that. I have been binging on documentaries of Aaron Hernandez lately.
Interesting. Because, yeah, I stopped watching football when everybody took a knee, and I just I was like, I'm done. Boop.
Why him? Why him?
I don't know. Other than he lived in the town that I grew up in, next to where I grew up in. So there was some connection there. I don't know. So all you need is one thread of connection to be able to connect with somebody. And if you have more connections, then that's amazing. You'll get a really good connection. I was doing table tipping with a dentist. So it was a private one-on-one, and he popped up. And I'm like, do you know who this is? And she goes, oh, I think it's that guy that just, we're trying to put it all together. And then I was like, oh, is this you? And he's like, yes. And he wanted me to, there was a lot of pain. He was feeling, there was a lot of pain for him, regret. And so when you're in that space, you haven't fully moved on.
Right.
Or for what it was feeling like for me. He felt like he was a little stuck. And I think that that's what he was looking for, but I really couldn't help him out.
for people who don't know, Aaron Hernandez was a tight end for the New England Patriots, and he ended up, well, he was convicted of killing somebody named Odin Floyd, his fiance's sister's boyfriend, but he was also acquitted of a double homicide in Boston as well, but they still believe it was him who did it. And then he ended up, once he went to jail and was convicted, he ended up, due to an insurance policy that his daughter would have got, he ended up hanging himself in his jail cell. And that was 8 years ago he passed away.
I think so.
It's a really sad story of brain trauma, a bad growing up, a bad home growing up, and so much more than that. And basically, if you want, there's a ton of documentaries on YouTube about it. It's very interesting. So I'm surprised you brought that up. That kind of weirds me out a little bit.
That is a little weird too. He wanted to say that there was a lot of love that he had, and compassion, and it was just there was a lot of sorrow for his. I don't think it was his wife, right? It was his daughter's mother.
Yeah, his fiance.
Okay, so there was that. He wanted me to. I said, I don't know. Like I'll deliver messages, but I don't know how to reach her. So I was like, it was kind of weird. But
Absolutely. Let's go to another question. Let's go to
Yeah.
11. Do you ever have a requested spirit refuse to talk to someone or tell you it is a bad idea to pass info on to somebody?
I don't understand. Help me understand this one.
Like a spirit, like when you're trying to connect to a spirit, they just like, no, I don't want to talk today.
Oh, yeah. It's like you and I. Like if Dave's gonna shut off his phone and rest after this. Even if you want to talk to him and he doesn't want to, you're not gonna get through. So I can't. That's the hard part of doing table, is that I cannot promise you I can talk to your loved ones or anyone. I can't promise that. What I can promise is I'll talk to somebody. Your guides are on 24/7. I know I can talk to them. And we all have, and then what's happening is everybody's alien people are showing up. And so we have alien guides as well. And so the more we're connecting to that realm and they're showing up, they're like, hey, can you let Sally know or Dave know that, his alien people are here, and we come in peace and to look for us. And usually when I mention that, your alien person is here, they are like, oh, that's who I saw, or I had a dream about that, or when I was a kid. Like there's a connection. I don't know if every person has an alien family, but when they're at table, they're coming through. And so I just deliver that message and it makes sense to people. So I go with it.
Let's go to another question here. Let's go to the birthday boy, Hillbilly Herb. Susan, when you get a message from spirit for someone unsolicited, do you generally pass it along? I worry about making people uncomfortable.
Good question, Hillbilly Herb. I won't if it's the first time, but if they keep nudging me, if it's really important, they'll be like, did you tell him? Did you tell him? Did you tell them? And I'm like, oh my gosh, shut up. They won't shut up until I tell them. And then I go, look, is this going to be for their highest good? Which it always is, because they're not going to say, tell them something bad. So then I pass it on. So yeah, ask. At first I'm like, no, I'm not going to go over and be a weirdo. But I kind of am the weirdo, so I'm getting comfortable with that. And I just ask nicely, I have some information for you. Would you like it? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, why not? So just ask nicely. I think that always helps.
Moving
and
on.
Happy
here.
birthday.
Let's go to Rocket UFO. Do you or do the others have free will to show up when they want from the other side?
Oh, I don't think so, because then they'd be here all the time and they bop in, stay for a little bit and leave. They're not hanging out all day, not the same person all day. And it's a short blips. It's not no more than 5 minutes, maybe. So I would say they have limited access to coming back to the side. And maybe that's why they pick anniversary dates or important gatherings when there's lots of loved ones that are connected. There's lots of ties to that person. It makes it stronger for them. That's what I believe, at least.
Yeah, I always find that interesting because, you know, some days they're there, other days they're not. You know,
Right.
and you could even call on them and they're not going to show up.
And there's people that I want to see that I have never been able to see. Like I want to see my Aunt Martha, and I've never seen her. And I would love to see that. But it's just not in the cards, and it will if it does.
I've only ever seen my one grandmother once, and that was when my nephew passed away in 2018. I astral traveled to find him.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
To find his spirit.
Yeah.
And he was lying on a bench sleeping.
Hmm.
And my two grandfathers and my grandmother were there. And my grandmother she passed away 6 months before he was born.
Oh, wow.
And she was just staring at him with the greatest smile.
Isn't
And
that love is so amazing.
yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like she acknowledged me, but it wasn't something that was relevant. She was too busy staring at him with a smile. And my two grandfathers, they acknowledged. But the interesting part about that was that's the only time I've ever seen her.
Wow.
On the other side. Now my nephew comes to me. He comes to me in really cool ways. So
I like that. Who is the short, little stout woman that was in your life that's passed?
like when we talk stout, how tall?
I wouldn't say very tall. It's hard to say. I can't see your feet. 5'3", not taller than 5'5". She's not tall.
Probably my mother.
Okay, yeah. All right, she's still hanging out with you. I love that.
It's funny, I never feel her.
Yeah, she's there. So that's why she's coming through. She's like, I want you to know she's here.
Cool.
Yeah, that's neat. So she's just kind of hanging. So she may not want to intrude. No, but she's saying she knows you don't feel well, so that's why she's coming to visit. But she wanted to say hi and make sure you knew she was around.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah.
Good. I love my mama.
Yeah.
She was kind of awesome. Kind of awesome. We got time for one quick question here, okay? Last
All right.
one. It will be from Andromedan. What do you think of the white light?
What do I think of the white light? As far as from Alien, that white, bright, pure light, like it's when you see that a certain white light, there is no doubt in your mind that is otherworldly. That's ET in white light. But keep your eyes for the blue light. They keep telling me about a light blue light, almost like your foot behind you, your Bigfoot foot, that blue and that light. Something about that is going to be coming forward. So we're going to be seeing that more.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Susan, I want to say thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's been way too long.
Okay,
Way too
let's do
long.
it
And we're so
again.
glad to have you here. And we encourage everybody to go to your website, capecodhappymedium.com, and check it on out along with your YouTube channel and your book on Amazon. You are an absolute blessing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys.
Susan Ahearn, everybody. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio, we're going to head to the swamp. And then the wizard, Josh Rutledge, will be here. He's even combed his hair for this episode. It's going to be good. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Great job tonight, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you, love.
You are absolutely amazing.
Oh, you're the best.
Let's talk soon.
All right. How do I get
All
out
right.
of here?
I will remove you from the studio and say goodnight to you, but
All right,
stay beautiful,
horns
my
up.
friend.
Thank you. Love
See you
you.
in the chat room.
All right.
All right. Susan Ahearn, everybody. You probably recognize her from our chat room. But I'll be right back. You guys sit tightly, and we'll be right back. Let's bring in the wizard. Say hello to our good friend tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, doing great.
Excuse me.
Doing great. Ready for a new week of exciting times.
Excellent. Excellent. I just wish my nose would stop running. That would be awesome.
Well, some part of you has to get exercise.
You. Oh. I'm so
No, I
sick.
get it. Well,
Sick.
you got that Canadian cold stuff going on, man. You know,
It's snowing outside too.
is it? Wow.
Yes, outside SOR headquarters, the snow is falling. Ross Lambda, how you doing?
I'm a cat once out of my office. Hold on.
Ross Lambda, I want to see what you did. Let me know where to find it. Oh, we got about 30 seconds. Thank you tonight to Kitty Caddywhack and Area 54. Don't forget, if you haven't already, slam that thumbs up button. And if you are debating whether or not to follow us, yeah, make sure you do that too. We'd appreciate that. Our store is always open at spacedoutradio.com. We appreciate you for coming on in. And here we go. Here we go with the final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We greatly appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Palpabration. Palpabration is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
On April 16th, 1980, the decomposing body of an unidentified young woman was found on the shore of the North Canadian River in Oklahoma. She had been found with 3 bullet wounds, which officials were able to connect to a .45 caliber revolver. Officials say when she was shot, one of the bullets actually hit a dime or a coin of some sort, suggesting that she was clothed at the time of her death. Not only was she clothed, but she watched her killer walk toward her as she died. The killer was facing her and walking closer to her as he fired the revolver. Now, why do officials call this Jane Doe the Lime Lady? Well, the person who committed this crime attempted to speed up the decomposition process by pouring quicklime on the remains. Ironically enough, it had the opposite effect and actually preserved the body, providing a sort of mummification effect. Not much came from the investigation. There was no sort of identification on the victim's body. Sadly, back in the 80s, DNA testing wasn't around yet, and this case had nothing to go on but an artist's composition of her face. The Lime Lady had blonde to light brown hair that reached down to her shoulders. She had plenty of freckles and a light complexion. She had a heart-shaped tattoo above her left breast. She has an apectomy, scar, and extensive dental work. In 2014, police were able to obtain a potential DNA profile for the victim. Until this day, though, nothing has come of this case, and the Lime Lady remains unknown.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, do us a favor. Head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, ring that bell, hit subscribe. Thousands of stories right there for you at your fingertips. Now, it's time to kick off the UFO report. Here's the wizard, Josh Rutledge.
Space Out Radio presents a UFO report. The
All right, we got the wizard, Josh Rutledge, coming on in for the UFO report. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. It's getting to be nice deep into fall weather here. So still in the upper 70s, but down into the 50s at night. So
what I would do. That's still t-shirt weather, man. That's still t-shirt.
Man, I've adjusted to the desert cold. I got to take my kids to school this morning. We went outside and it was 61.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like, "Brr, it's kind of nippy out here."
Oh, you poor thing. How do you do it?
I get it though, because I grew up in Kentucky and I remember many winters where it was like 9 or sometimes below 0 in the like January, February months. So it took about 3 years for my body to adjust to the desert temperatures out here. So when I first moved here, I was laughing at all the people who were wearing jeans when it was 70 outside, but now I'm wearing jeans when it's 70 outside. So,
man, when's the last time you saw snow? Like snow falling.
I saw it, not probably last year. We went to Flagstaff, and we saw some snow there. Arizona actually has like a little bit of every type of climate because there are various places that are higher in elevation. And so they do get cold. I mean, Flagstaff will get sometimes, a foot or two of snow.
Never knew. Look at that. Look at that. As I say that, as it's snowing outside SOR headquarters as we speak. So that's kind of cool.
But the nice thing about where you live is that I would imagine people are familiar with snow and so therefore know how to drive in it.
Yes. Winter tires up here are mandatory from October 1st to April 1st. You have to have winter tires on your vehicle. So it is something that, you have to make sure that you have the right driving equipment. That's for sure.
Are chains a normal activity as well?
No. If you're going into the mountain passes, like a lot of semi trucks will carry chains.
Yeah.
A lot of people up here will use spiked tires.
Yeah.
Or studded tires.
Studded tires. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they cool and like they pop out of the tire when you push a button?
No, unfortunately. That would
Why hasn't somebody invented that yet?
Man, I just can't wait for a self-propelled car, self-driving car.
Oh, I fear the day that we have self-driving cars.
We already do.
And well, unless everyone has a self-driving car, because otherwise you've got AI or robots trying to work together to navigate the streets with randos out there just still driving their self-drive cars, typing on their cell phones and eating steaks in the front seat while they're sitting in traffic. So
at the Nebraska Bigfoot conference last year, 2 of our listeners, they go by Zen 1 and Zen 2, had just bought a Tesla Cybertruck. And I'd never seen one up close and personal. So we're sitting around after the conference and I'm like, hey, I'd love to see your truck. And they're like, yeah, not a problem. They take me outside. They go, hop in the driver's seat. So I hop in the driver's seat and he presses this button and the vehicle pulls out of the parking spot and we go driving. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, just watching out the window, no hands on the steering wheel or foot on the gas pedal. This thing's driving on its own. And I'm like, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I fell in love with it, to be honest. Scary as anything, but I fell in love with it.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It's a cool technology. When Tesla unveiled their electric semi trucks a couple of years back with the idea that, they would be, autonomous trucks. And once you got on the highway, they would just kind of pace themselves with the other trucks that are on the highway. I mean, it's an interesting idea. I mean, if you look at like movies and stuff, the I, Robot movie with Will Smith, that's something that's commonly featured in that movie, right? Where you got, the car drives on its own, and it's really hard for him to put it into self-drive mode, and everybody thinks he's crazy when he does it. But like I said, the only way that really works is if every automobile on the road is like, automated driven, so that it can all be talking to each other, and no more traffic jams, no more accidents, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for driverless semi-trucks just yet. That seems a little creepy, but we'll see how it goes. Did you know today is a big anniversary in the UFO world?
I did not.
Well, let's see if this story will tantalize you a little bit, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
It was on this night in 1986. It was a quiet Monday night. I wrote this up for you, so it's going to sound very story-ish.
Okay.
Okay. It was a quiet Monday night in the frozen silence of the Alaskan airspace. Japan Airlines cargo flight 1628, a Boeing 747-200F, was hauling a load of French wine from Paris to Tokyo. At the helm was Captain Kenji Terauchi, a veteran with 29 years of piloting experience, and a crew of two, First Officer Takanori Tamafuji and flight engineer Yoshio Tsukada, Tsukuda. I apologize about that. Just another routine flight, 35,000 feet. Everything's going great. But what happened next would forever place Terauchi in the UFO history books and put the FAA, the CIA, and the global aviation community on notice. You see, at 5:11 p.m. Alaska time, just northeast of Mount McKinley, Captain Terauchi noticed something strange off to his left. A cluster of lights, faint at first, but rapidly closing the distance. They were too bright, too close, and moving way too fast to be stars. These were no ordinary aircraft. Through the pilot's cockpit glass, Terauchi watched in disbelief as the lights transformed. They became two brilliantly glowing objects, each the size of a small passenger jet, moving in perfect formation, flanking the 747's nose. The objects glowed with a bluish-white brilliance and pulsed with a rhythmic energy. The lights were moving in a manner we had never experienced. It was very distinct, Terauchi later said. And then they did something impossible. You see, the mysterious craft began to rotate as if allowing a crew to view their structure. Captain Terauchi reported seeing rows of what appeared to be glowing nozzles, like exhaust ports, arranged in gridiron patterns. Then, without warning, his cockpit lit up, flooded with an intense heat the crew could feel through the glass. It was as if I were staring directly into a heater, Terauchi said later. The cockpit was glowing. The crew contacted Anchorage Air Traffic Control with urgency. We have traffic at 11 o'clock, Terauchi said, but on radar, there was nothing. As the two smaller craft fell back, the crew thought and hoped the encounter was over. But then the true giant revealed itself. To the left, looming far larger than their jumbo jet, was a shadow in the sky, an enormous dark mass accompanied by a faint outline. It was nearly 10 times the size of the 747. Captain Terauchi later described it as a gigantic spaceship. It was as if a fortress was in the sky, he said. The crew radioed again. This time, the FAA radar at Elmendorf Air Force Base did pick up a return. A massive, unidentified echo briefly appeared on their screens, but as quickly as it appeared, it vanished. The giant craft maintained distance, but stayed in formation until the flight neared Anchorage. For 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes, Japan Airlines Flight 1628 was shadowed by something no one could explain. Once safely on the ground, Terauchi was grounded, not for safety, but for speaking up. The FAA called him a UFO repeater, suggesting his story was exaggerated or misinterpreted. CIA and military intelligence were also briefed. The incident appeared in the FAA's own investigation logs, and was deemed inexplicable. The refueling controller, Paul Stuck, later admitted, "We picked up something on the radar. We don't know what it was." For Captain Tarochi, the nights that followed were absolutely restless. He and his crew were forced to remain silent, but he continued to describe what he saw with conviction. "The things we saw were not from this world." Decades later, in the world of ufology and transparency at the Pentagon UFAP investigations, the Japan Airlines Flight 1628 incident now stands as one of the most credible pilot witness encounters in history. Why? Because it involved multiple trained observers, FAA corroboration, radar anomalies, a sustained close-range encounter, extensive crew documentation. In a time before smartphones, YouTube, or disclosure campaigns, Tarochi stood tall, risking his career to speak the truth, even though that truth flew in the face of everything we thought we knew about what was in the sky. Now, the other interesting part about this story is that Tarochi was actually grounded by Japan Airlines because they felt, because of his story, that he was actually embarrassing the airlines. And Japanese culture takes very much very seriously anybody who actually makes that type of claim, because they do not like being embarrassed, especially on the world stage. So he was grounded, but for telling his story, a public uproar actually got him rehired because he had a spotless flying record throughout that time. So 39 years ago, Japan Airlines Flight 1628. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it is a fascinating experience, encounter. It's also, I think, one of the earliest, if you want to call it, commercial airline sightings that was, that went on record. And maybe his willingness to bring it forward is what also encouraged other future commercial airline pilots to also speak out. I think also the general explanation that's given for the case is that he misidentified Jupiter and Mars that were low on the horizon and would have appeared to be, in his, kind of a field of view, so to speak, or flying there with him. But I don't know. It seems pretty. The explanation seems more far-fetched than the actual experience itself. If you got to stretch really far to come up with this pilot who's been flying for years and years and years, has logged many hours, all of a sudden he doesn't recognize Mars and Jupiter in the night sky and thinks it's a UFO. No, I'm sorry, that's preposterous. It's the complaint that I have of a lot of people who come up with prosaic explanations is just because something was in the same area at the same time doesn't mean that's what it was. So yeah, I tend to think it is a true account. We know that some years ago, I don't know that anything ever came of it, but Ben Hansen even hinted at an investigation that he was doing with airline pilots, with objects and lights and things moving around in the sky when they were doing the flights that kind of cross over the poles, the North Pole area. They don't cross over the pole, but until they go really far north, then they come back down. And he was talking with those types of pilots, and they were talking about all the things they were seeing up in that area. So I do think there probably are a lot of commercial airliner pilots that see a lot of things. And I think that's not Ryan Graves. Ryan Graves, was a UAP hearing 2 hearings back. That's his big thing, right? That he started, which is to give commercial airline pilots a place to go to report the things that they're seeing, because the FAA is not doing anything with it.
I think that it is something that a lot of pilots will not talk about. because their careers are based off of flying. And they really don't want to get into this world because it can cost them their wings. There's a lot of archaic people running these companies and these corporations that, whether it's a cargo flight or whether it's a private flight or whether it's a commercial flight going from New York to London, whatever it may be, they do not want to take a chance at losing their wings. That's why I don't think we get a lot of fighter pilots come out about this. I mean, what we saw with David Fravor, Alex Dietrich, Ryan Graves, and others who came out, this was basically, they were all retired, they were not in service, and they decided, well, what the hell, let's just say something about it. But current pilots have not come out and talked about this. They don't want to risk getting their wings ripped off. They worked hard to get into that position. It's probably what they wanted to do since childhood, because it's a job you just don't fall into.
Right.
You know, so why would they do that? Well, it's to protect their careers. You know, they don't want to be the UFO guy or girl. They don't want to do that. They want to be somebody who is able to, like, if you're working a transcontinental flight or an international flight, you're making $200,000, $300,000 a year, maybe more if you're a private pilot. And they don't want to be able to ruin that illustrious career of basically flying all over the world and having it ruined because they decided that they wanted to put a UFO sighting in there.
Well, you know, I feel like a lot of airline companies are missing out on a golden opportunity for them to get in front of what is, I think, soon to become kind of the data gold rush, if you will, of UAP report data. There are just so many instrumentation, so much instrumentation on these aircraft. If Delta or Southwest or any of the airline companies were to establish a program within the company, sanctioned by the company, with zero impact or credit, to the credibility of the pilot, and say, hey, we want to collect your sighting information. We want to know when you have a sighting so that we can log all the logs that the aircraft may have collected, blah, blah, blah. And with the effort of then providing that data to some investigatory body. Because I do think it's coming. Ryan Graves and others are pushing for it. And if the Age of Disclosure documentary potentially rattles some cages or rattles some things loose, getting in front of those things as an airline company and saying, hey, we see that our pilots, our trained professionals that are up flying every day, they are the best instrumentation that you have for capturing this information. I mean, there's ways they could spin it to where it is a positive. But to your point, to date, they choose to spin it to where it's a negative. If you have that experience, you're a nut job, or you're on drugs, or you need to be grounded because you've been flying too long. But if they were to spin it as a positive, they were to say, we're getting ahead of this thing. We want to figure it out. We want our airline pilots to be safe. This is a credible story, so on and so forth. I think it would go a long way towards collecting a lot of data that, a lot of, personal accounts, as well as just whatever data the airline might be capturing as it's lumbering along. But also it'll push the boundaries of reshaping how we view the UFO phenomena.
Josh Rutledge on Spaced Out Radio, the Wizard, coming on in strong. We're going to continue with this when we return.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Went out to Flight 21 yesterday.
Yeah. Any fresh prints in the snow or anything?
Actually, yes. I was just going to show you this. This of a juvenile. This was only about 8 inches by about 3.5, 4 inches. Hold on. Right there.
Nice.
That was the best one.
Wow.
And then on the trail beside it, mountain lion tracks.
Oh yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Big kitty. Big kitty.
So what's the oddest thing you've had happen out there at Flight 21?
Well, the two things or the three things, the really up close and personal tree knocks, those were so violent. So violent. I wish I could have found the tree that got hit. We looked for it, we couldn't find it. The farting was hilarious. Oh, here's another thing. The poop that we found right after the farting,
Mm-hmm.
it still has not degraded.
Have you had rain?
We've had rain, we've had snow. Now we found this pile in what was it, August or July or August, and it still hadn't biodegraded,
Interesting.
and it's still there.
Think to collect some of that?
We have some.
Okay.
We do have some, but I'm blown away by it. Like it has not biodegraded. It's weird, right? I mean, look, there's moose crap, there's coyote crap. I mean, I found a pile of coyote crap on the ground. Okay, you could see it starting to break down.
Yeah.
This is not breaking down.
Implies maybe a large oil of fat content, that it's
I don't know.
basically repelling maybe the water.
Don't know. And then the other one would be the voices. The voices were pretty weird that were trying to lure us in.
Yeah.
Those are the big three for me. But yeah, I went out there. It'll be the last time I'm there until next year.
Is it just because it gets so bad to get to it?
Yeah. It was the ground was snow covered because you have to go into the most dangerous part is you got to go into this gully. You have to go down the gully, through the gully, and then back up the gully.
Mhm.
And over the last year, there's been a lot of ATVers riding through there.
Yeah.
And their tires really eat up trails, and they beat it up a little bit. So there was snow on it, so it was a little bit slippery. But like I wouldn't do it again. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wait till next year before I feel safe in going in there. Like I feel safe, like I would do it, but with the addition of the snow, like if it's snowing here, it's been snowing out there
Oh,
for
yeah.
a few hours. And
Well, there's really no reason to risk. I mean, other than
No.
the excitement, I'm sure that comes along with being out there and experiencing stuff. But
yeah.
Whatever's there will be there next year.
Absolutely. And I let them know too that I said this was probably my last time here until after winter. So you're not going to see me for a few months, but we will be back, we'll totally be back. And that's kind of the way we went through it,
Yeah.
So big thank you tonight to Area 54 Kitty Caddywhack, our lone super chatters of the night. Thank you very much for your love. Thank you to everybody who's given us a thumbs up. Don't forget after the show, since we are shadow banned, to make sure that you leave a comment after the show We'd appreciate it. And you can help us get out of this shadow banning because we don't really like it. Here we go. We're into the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. We greatly appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you missed most of this show or others, you can check out our free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We appreciate you tuning us in as we have the wizard Josh Rutledge hanging on out with us for the UFO report. Josh, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, man. Great to be here every time. Look forward to it. Gives me a reason to stay in the know on the UFO subject. So, yeah.
What else do you got for us tonight?
So Wednesday of this week at 3 p.m. Eastern time on NASA Plus, NASA's website, Amazon Prime, YouTube, on the NASA channel, they're going to do a 2-hour live presentation of the images they've captured of 3-Eye Atlas.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, so the press release they put out about it, they call it a comet like 4 times throughout the press release. But everybody on X and Reddit and places are saying, like, if it's just a comet, why do a 2-hour live presentation of some images if it's just a comet? I think because it's NASA, more than likely they're going to do a 2-hour presentation to basically use that time to, turn their nose up to Avi Loeb.
So basically, you think they're going to throw Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb under the bus?
Yep. And I think they're doing it live and for 2 hours so that they can just completely rub it in that, in their opinion, although it won't be proclaimed as opinion, it's a comet. It's an interstellar comet. That's what they're going to, that is my take on what's going to happen. And it's unfortunate because, like we've talked about before, Avi's whole thing is that he doesn't have any proof that it's alien tech. He just wants people to consider the possibility that it could be alien tech. And NASA is doing the exact thing that Avi is trying to shed light on, is the point that, no one ever thinks or even considers the possibility that it's anything more than just a comet or a meteor or whatever. So I plan on watching it. So when we get together on the Thursday night report, I'll have, some summary information of what was said. But yeah, I'm I'm disappointed, but also not, because it's NASA. What's the sometimes people talk about, the abbreviation for NASA is like what was it?
Never a straight answer.
Never a straight answer. I like the no one apparently sees anything.
That one's good too. I'd never heard that one. One of the things that I think is they had to get their story straight. I mean, how do all of a sudden they have these images? And I know how, but I'm being facetious here.
Yeah.
How do they get all of these images if they weren't there for the government shutdown?
Well, they had them before. They had them before the government shutdown. Their argument was that because of the government shutdown, they couldn't go through the checks and balances for a press release.
Right.
But, the fact that 3 business days after the government shutdown ends, they're already ready to have a press conference, tells me that they did have it all ready to go, and could have released them at any point in time, but chose not to. And I do agree with you. I think it's they wanted to make sure they had their ducks in a row, so that, again, I could be wrong. They could give it out there and say this looks like a comet and quacks like a comet, walks like a comet, but hey, it could really not be a comet. They could say that. But based on what they did for the UAP report they put out, I fully expect it to be every bit of them saying this is just an interstellar comet. And I don't think they'll come right out and say, Avi's name directly or anything, but I think they'll say things that trace back to Avi and his theories that in the scientific community will be a harsh burn, even though the rest of us may not pick up on it.
I think they're going to show more pixelation. They're going to show a little bit more far away shots, like nothing that they probably could zoom in on, because they never want us to see very closely what it is, even though they have cameras that could zoom right in on it. Now,
sorry, go ahead.
I think I do believe that it is a comet. I do. I think it's very exciting as a non-scientist that it was creating physics that have never been seen before, which I think is great for the scientific community because it's going to show that they do not know it all, even though they act like it. And I think that's going to be great. However, I want it to be a UFO. I really do. And it's weird, before 3i Atlas showed up, there were numerous people, whether you like them or not. Stephen Greer was one. Jeremy Corbell was another, saying that they expected a false flag type of craft coming in, from an interstellar object that was a craft that they would call a comet or whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden 3i Atlas shows up. So to me, there is coincidence there, because let's face it, even though there's a lot of ego between Jeremy Corbell and Dr. Stephen Greer combined, they do run in two totally different groups. And for them to tell the same story, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, yes, but also, 3i Atlas is the third or fourth interstellar object to come into our space, and not even the first one this year. It's just the first one that has garnered the attention that 3i Atlas has got. The other thing I was going to mention is there are a lot of amateur astronomers who have gotten some amazing photos with Earth-based telescopes. Some of those telescopes not even, fantastic. So yeah, I agree that if NASA comes out in their 2-hour live stream and they show us some grainy, light moving across a, gray and white background, I'm going to be really suspicious as to why we continue to spend money on these fantastic telescopes that we launch into space.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the jet fighters that are allegedly recording these UFOs, how they're giving us the grainy version. We know they have the colored version. We know that they have the 3D version of it going on. These aircraft that they're costing, 50, 60, 80, $100 million a piece. Okay. They have those cameras to be looking at each other or objects, much like you and I are looking at each other.
Yeah.
That technology is there. So for them to give us some grainy World War II video of a Tic Tac, it's just them playing games with the public.
They probably run it through the 8mm filter in Instagram before they give it to us.
Isn't that the truth? Well, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here, my friend.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna have it on just to see, in case anybody didn't catch it. on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, if you got the NASA Plus app, or most people probably will watch it, is on the NASA channel on YouTube. But you can watch it 2 hours live. They've got chat disabled on their live stream, but I'm sure you could find somebody else who's streaming it, or Reddit subreddit where everybody's gonna be talking about it and talk about it there. So
Very interesting. What else you got for us?
so along the lines of Three Eye Atlas, are you familiar with Sebastian Martin?
Yes. Good friend of mine.
Okay. So he claims that he remote viewed Three Eye Atlas and saw nearly 5 million Draco reptilian soldiers on board.
I saw that.
And somebody asked me recently what my thoughts were on Three Eye Atlas. And I said that from a scientific perspective, I think it's probably an interstellar comet. It's a really cool one, exhibiting some properties we've never seen before, but that's probably what it is. But from a spiritual perspective, I think it might be something else. But the something else that I think it is not a spaceship carrying 5 million Draco reptilian soldiers. But I mean, that's the nice thing about theories. Everybody can have one.
Let me tell you a little bit about Sebastian. Okay, he is a very successful businessman who literally had some experiences that made him leave the corporate world to take this on. He has met with some very powerful people politically about remote viewing and been hired to do remote viewing jobs. Now, that's what I do know. I'm not saying I believe this, but I also know the circle that he is running in, and it's very, very, I don't want to say political and corporate, but there are a lot of people and a lot of governments interested in what he does. So, do I believe this? No, I do not. But on the flip side, I'll never know.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
unless
he
they land and 5 million Draco reptilian soldiers come out.
He could be completely correct.
Yeah.
He could. We don't know.
Right.
We don't even know what the object is. Humanly speaking, as you said, we are going to call it a comet. But we don't know what it is. We have no close-ups. And what a lot of people don't understand about the big telescopes that are looking at these things, they're capturing, you'll know better than I do, they're not actually capturing a photo. They are capturing a bunch of almost like binary numbers and everything, and then turning those numbers into what it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, you're taking a selfie of this thing or an actual picture. So could that be manipulated? Could AI manipulate that?
Oh, yeah.
We'll never know.
Well, I mean, it could. And, it's, if you believe the stories, it's not the first time that NASA or other agencies have manipulated photos from space. So, if you do take photos from your telescope, what is recommended that you do is that you take several long exposure photos and then you stack those photos one on top of the other, and that gives you better definition of what you're actually looking at. So if you are going out and attaching your iPhone to your, Celestron telescope and taking pictures, take several over take like a 10-second exposure, take, 10-second exposures, and then stack those images one on top of the other, using some program. Canva can do it, other things, just stack them on top of the other, get better definition. I'm hoping that that's what we're going to get from NASA on Wednesday, is that better definition.
I think we're going to get the Chief Wiggum. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. the Homer going back into the into the shrubbery. That's what we're gonna get 2 hours of from NASA on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, you're also talking about a group that has been in full denial over the UFO experience,
Yeah.
even though there is public record of their astronauts and test pilots talking about strange craft following them from Gemini on forward. So they are in complete denial of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what we need to know about the NASA side of everything here is this is a group that is going to be playing their secret parts in public. Okay. This is why I said it's the Chief Wiggum effect.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing to see here. Because if we go by that, they don't have to explain anything. They will say they confirmed with a bunch of university scientists
Mhm.
that this is something strange, that it's been a comet all along. We don't know the physics of it. We're going to have to learn, or we're going to have to take
Yeah.
months and years to study every movement that it made in order to try and define how it was making weird turns, how its propulsion system was countering gravitics. We're going to have to do all that. And that's great. That's great. It'll
Yep.
move physics along a little bit. But is it truth? We'll never know.
Yep.
So Sebastian Martin could actually be right. Do I believe it? No. But I can't rule it out.
Yeah. The other thing I'll also say is that I was talking to someone recently who we were talking about out of body travel. And he said that he had a friend that was a flat earther, and this friend had 2 out of body experiences, and said he knows without a doubt that the earth is flat. And I asked him if his friend was a flat earther before he had his out of body experiences. And he said, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. And so my point in asking that question of him, and I'll say it here, is that our biases color our experiences. If you believe the earth is flat and you have an out-of-body experience, guess what? You're probably going to get evidence in that out-of-body experience that proves your theory. If you believe that there are ships of Draco reptilians that are surrounding us all the time, then when you remote view the 3-Eye Atlas, you're probably going to see Draco reptilians. It's the same thing. People who have near-death experiences, if they're very religious, they meet Jesus. If they're just spiritual, they usually just meet family members. Our biases color our experiences. And so, that's something that also has to be taken into consideration.
I think that's a massive point. We got 3 minutes left. What do you got?
All right. Last little bit. Age of Disclosure. We're coming up on the release of that. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. I think I saw somewhere it's like $20. I'll probably pay for it. But Dan Farah has been making the rounds, hitting all the TV stations, and he was on Fox News just a couple of days ago. And he said, this is a quote from him: "Every single person I interviewed made it very clear that it was no longer a question of whether this was a real situation. It's a very real situation." And so basically everybody around the internet is now running with it and saying that the Age of Disclosure says that UFOs are real. And I'm a little disappointed that they're doing that, because the fact that in 2018, the Pentagon said these 3 videos that were in the 2017 New York Times article are ours, and we do not have an explanation from them. That was the point when we knew that UFOs were real. And it was echoed by the UAP hearings and the UAP task force and Arrow and so on and so forth. So I'm a little perturbed that now Dan Farah is getting credit for somehow solving the mystery that UFOs are real.
I think that the reason why he is because he has a lot of pull, and they probably put junior reporters on him to do this story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're not going to waste a a Christiana Monpour type person to do an investigative deep dive on this. They're going to put a reporter on there where in journalism we call them fluff pieces, or the stories that we don't want to do. Okay, do I see that happening? Yes. Can I prove it? No. Okay, but I've seen that happen before, where you know what, we got a story here. It's a weekend fluff story, so let's do this up.
Well, I hope that everybody else in the community, or even if they watch his film and that, you know, they're fringe people, you've got some interest, but they've never really shown any great deep interest. If they're just fringe people and they watch his film and they come away with it wanting to know more, I hope that they actually discover that he in his film is not the first ones to come to the conclusion that the UFO topic is real.
Well, the other thing too is all these same people have been interviewed on other documentaries saying the exact same story. So were they not telling the truth then, but now they're telling the truth for Dan Farah's story?
Yeah, I don't know. There was another thing that I read that said, although the movie's participants refused to disclose classified information, some of their statements elicited audible gasps when it was premiered in March. So again, maybe they have other information that they're coming forward with that's not breaking any classification rules.
Well, we're going to have to see it. Josh, tell everybody where they can find your podcast.
Yep. You can find all of my stuff on my website, ourmysticjourneys.com. That's ourmysticjourneys.com. My YouTube, my podcast, all of my personal sessions, anything you want to do with me, you can find on my website.
Thank you, Josh, as we say goodnight to him and hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
Don't make a mistake. We're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Good job tonight, Josh.
Thank you. I wanted to, when we were at the little break earlier, I was going to tell you, you need a SOR shirt that has a bunch of like various types of scat you might find in the forest, and then you've got the big area, or the Flight 21 Bigfoot poo on the list,
like an SOR poop expert.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Scat Show.
It gives a whole new reason to scat pack.
Right? That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right.
It's kind of shitty that we're not going back up there this year.
What's that?
I said it's kind of crappy that we're not going back this year.
Oh.
Done.
Yeah. My only hope is that maybe you'll just find when you do go out, next year, you'll find that they left you some gifts.
I hope so. I left the gifting site there for comfortability and familiarity.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because it's literally going to be a restart. So now I can concentrate on building the new team. Hopefully Tim can come back next year. But I got to build a new team to go in there and make sure that they're all up to snuff and understand. And then got to get the Sasquatch comfortable with them,
Yeah.
you know, and kind of go from there. Right.
Have you, I think I asked you this before, but have you set up trail cams and stuff?
Yeah, I got trail cams.
Okay, cool.
But I'm going to have to restart and build the trust because of the people.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, for sure. I just was curious if you had anything set up that might passively catch anything. So,
Yeah. I did get a couple pictures of a mountain lion and one of a marten, which is like a larger weasel. That was kind of cool. And squirrels and rabbits, but I didn't get anything big that I wanted.
yeah, none of the things that you actually want to capture, right?
Yeah. But I knew that was going to happen because we had just put the camera out there once. Right?
Does your trail cam capture video and stills?
I can do both. Yeah.
Yeah. You might try putting one on video. Because I've heard some stories about Bigfoot coming into an area and it basically being like a portal. So like there was like a bright flash of light. Then they saw something kind of move quickly by the camera.
Yeah.
This was on a just a kind of a standard security camera. So if you're only grabbing a still, you may not get it. But if you do a 10-second video clip, you might catch something.
Damn it, son of a bitch. God, I hate sneezing. Hate it. Yeah, I hear you.
So, all right, man, I'm gonna go to bed and I'll catch you guys on Thursday.
Yeah.
And hopefully on Wednesday, NASA, rolls that beautiful bean footage and we actually get some good stuff.
We're gonna see, buddy. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Okay.
Good night. Thanks, you too.
All right, brother. Take care. Josh Rutledge, everybody. He's one of the good ones. Excuse me one sec. Tomorrow night on the show, we're going to stick in the paranormal realm. Matt Lay is going to join us, and we're going to talk about his latest technology invention, trying to track down how we can record more paranormal activity and see what it's all about. It's going to be great. Matt literally has probably, in my opinion, one of the top 3 beards in the paranormal world. Yeah, it's going to be good. Cowie, how you doing, my friend? Contrary One, how are you? And let's see here. Who else we got? I don't know. Thank you tonight. Or hey, E. Dungarian, how you doing? Nice to see you. Mel, I honestly don't know how Tim is. He's gone off the grid. It's the weirdest thing. Sorry for blowing my nose into the microphone here. Yeah, I really don't know. Like, I was actually going to go and just drop by his work just to see how he's doing. So, um, I'm hoping he's doing okay. So we will see. It's a weird situation. But I've seen his wife more than I've seen or talked to him. And I know she's going through some health problems too, but she was saying that, his brain is just not settling down the way doctors thought it would. And and he's a little bit stressed because his wife is going through some health issues and so on and so forth. So it's I'm hoping everything can work out. I really am, because Tim is truly a really good dude. He really is a fantastic human being. And I know, even though he hasn't said it to me, I know he misses this a lot because he really loved being a part of this. And I hope that he can get healthy enough that the door is open for him to come back anytime he wants. So it'll be good. It'll be very good. But in the meantime and in between time, I am in the process of starting to build a new team for Flight 21. I have a couple people who I've talked to about it already. I'm going to be building a team of 4 or 5. So that way, if somebody wants to take a night off or just can't make it due to holidays or scheduling conflicts or whatever, or being sick, that 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 way we can continue on doing what we're doing. So it's something that I'm looking forward to. I mean, I really hope Tim can come back. Um, we'll see where it goes, though. If he doesn't, well, we'll get her done anyways. I do this weekend. I will be getting out my final episode of Secrets of the Forest. I still have that recorded. I have to get through it and get that out to you guys. And I'm also going to be starting a couple more projects here to try and get rid of the shadow banning. I've been doing a lot of homework on that this past weekend. One of the things that I am going to one of the things that I'm going to be doing is, if you guys have a photo or a video that you want put out there, I want to start a new section. And I got inspired by that handprint that my friend Jim sent me, where I want to tell a little bit of a story and then show the picture or show the video and then put it on there. And I think that's going to add a little bit to our shorts and to our social media. So if you have a photo or a video that you want me to have, please send it to me either on Facebook Messenger or on email, dave@spacedoutradio.com, dave@spacedoutradio.com, because I do want to start this feature pretty soon. And it will go public. I will say that. Don't send me a picture and say, hey, Dave, I don't want you to post this, because it's going to get posted. I want to try and, get you guys out there. You guys have been so loyal, and I know a bunch of you have sent me photos and videos in the past that you've got, and I want to be able to finally do something with them. So that is my project to kind of do that from a show perspective, and that would be really cool. Yeah, if I ever complete my book, God, I got to get to that. Photos with pants. Yes, Benno. Photos with pants. Yeah, it doesn't have to be UFO, guys. It could be ghosts. It could be cryptids. It could be weird lights. It could be orbs. I don't care what it is. If you have trail cams out there, let me know. Let me know. Hey, there's Sweet Robbie G. Hey, Sweet Robbie G, this for you, buddy. There you go. The sweets. Gotta love the sweets. Yeah, so hit me up on Facebook Messenger or hit me up on that's the wrong date. I didn't let's go edit here. Edit. That's November 17th. There we go. Save that. And let's go. Here. Let's download this bad boy. There we go. Download. Why aren't you downloading? Download. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it goes. All right. Dave, do you have a Taco Bell drive-through? No, but next month we're getting McDonald's here. Next month, McDonald's opens. The building is built. They're building on the inside right now. Oh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for McDonald's to be here. Oh, breakfast burritos. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, let's go here. Right there. We'll get that done. Hard to believe your Cowboys won. Holy cow. Well, then again, they were playing the Raiders. It's amazing the Raiders have 2 wins this season. I don't think you're making the playoffs, though. You're playing for a draft pick right now, and every win you get there, Sweets, is costing you a draft position. Just saying. I wouldn't be too excited about winning at this time of year. What's the NBA? Is that a sport? Jersey Kid, welcome to SOR chat. I didn't know the NBA is a sport. Is that the game where the players can't play back-to-back nights because they might get hurt or they're too tired? You're so ill on that, sweet Robbie G. So ill. Thank you, Deborah Rooney. I'm sorry to see that you had breakfast for dinner. You should know better than that. Yeah, the good old NBA. Yeah, because the NBA's numbers are tanking quicker than the Titanic sinking right now. What do I think Three Eye Atlas is? Unfortunately, I believe it's a comet, but I want it to be a UFO. What is my favorite breakfast food? Deb, if I was going out for breakfast with you, I would order a Denver omelet with hollandaise sauce, hot sauce, sourdough toast, and strawberry jam. With a glass of what you call down there sweet tea, which we call iced tea up here. That's what I would have for breakfast. I like cold beverages, man. Cat Chaser, if you're remote viewing into my trail cams, you're going to find them pointing up at my ceiling because they're right here. There's two of them. The other two are in the back of my Jeep. Let's go here. And let's go here. Open that up. Oh, shit. Forgot to do that. This is 11:17. All right. So let's go. Where did I put that now? I already loaded it. That's why. Yeah, like that, like this, like this. Upload. Upload this. Upload. Close that out. Close that out. Close that. Close that. And go like this, like that, like that. And go there. All right, guys. Tomorrow night on the show, Matt Lay, paranormal scientist. We're going to get into seeing if that would do anything. And I know it's going to be a great show. You'll love Matt. He's an American living in Saskatchewan, married to a beautiful Canadian lady named Allison. He's been on the show before. It's been a number of months since we've had him on. So we'll get that done. Thank you to Deborah Rooney, Area 54, and Kitty for the super chats. Thank you to all of our new subscribers and to all of those who gave us a thumbs up tonight. And don't forget to leave a comment after the show and send me your pictures or videos either on Facebook Messenger or on email, dave@spacedoutradio.com. So that way we can put your story together for some nice YouTube and social media shorts. I'd appreciate it. Much love, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.